All right, welcome back to Uptick Updates, episode 21. Brian, thanks for making time again. I saw on Twitter that you'll be participating in an online roundtable about the metaverse on July 29th, and I was hoping today maybe we could talk a bit more about that. Looks pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah, sure. Good to see you again, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually next week will be a interesting week. It's called 2022 Disruptors Week. There will be a lot of sessions from global players, like panel discussions on Web 3.0, Metaverse, and NFT. I'm invited to join two sessions next week.
Great. That's great. So what are you going to talk about? The infrastructure?
I think the major focus is to discuss what is Web 3.0 or Metaverse. At the same time, how can we prepare ourselves, be ready for that? Or what's the transformation we see from current model to Web 3.0? So that will be a lot of hot topic in those sessions. I will be more focusing on talk about the infrastructure, the importance of infrastructure for this Web 3.0 or Metaverse. Because it's pretty easy to describe a very creative idea, right? To do some fancy website or gamification-based campaign. But essentially, we need to find a way to make it very sustainable, everlasting, because that's the foundation part of the Web 3.0 and Metaverse. So I'm going to talk about that in those sessions, especially to emphasize the importance of a blockchain and the NFT technology as an essential part of that. So by saying that, I feel maybe, we can talk about the metaverse a little bit. It's a fancy word, right? So it's a hot word. Everybody knows, but a lot of people, they have different interpretation. In the past, we have been through over 20 plus years of the internet, right? So Web 3.0, it's not just defined by a concept because of the evolution of the technology itself. Right. For example, the blockchain technology in the past 10 plus years, starting from the Bitcoin, a lot of IT project consider it as a base infrastructure. All right. So it's a decentralized infrastructure. At the same time, we are talking about virtual reality, VR glasses, right? Mixed reality or augmented reality. So all those technologies has been developed in the past 10 years. One major attribute of a metaverse, we call it like an immersive experience. That's people are looking for, and it's already possible, right? Even right now, if we are connecting to each other on a virtual meeting, right? Yeah. So if we turn us into a meeting room, that will be one scenario, right, of the metaverse meeting room. So that's the immersive experience is very important. Because of the technology development of VR, AR, and MR, so it's made possible. At the same time, the metaverse, another major element in my view is social. It's different social. It's the mixed the reality and the virtual social experience together, right? So this is really interesting to me. Whatever technology product in our human history, the major solution is for the communication, right? To connect different people together from the same nation or different nations, from same language to different language. So because of that, in order to make such social happen and be more smooth in our daily life, there's also a lot of new technologies developed. For example, the artificial intelligence, AI technology, and big data. So all those technologies also make it possible to make the product or the media which connect us to understand us more and to connect us more efficiently together, right? So even in some product, they do the real-time translation for the people who are speaking different languages. So all those underlying technology make it possible to make a smooth communication between people. That actually will expand our social experience a lot. It's already happening. It's not just a communication between human beings. So we have a communication between human and the AI system. So that's man-machine interface has been improved a lot. So that's also a big trend for the future. So by saying that, like immersive experience and also the more social experience. For the metaverse part, I think one pretty important concept is we need to have an open system to make it happen. So because metaverse doesn't belong to any individual company, so it is a pretty open system, right? So on the public blockchain and also connect everything together. So I think that's very important.
I've got a couple questions. So when you were explaining Web3, for me that's kind of like decentralized internet, right? But for Metaverse, it's more of an immersive environment for communicating with others. Is that how you define it?
I think Metaverse is even bigger concept than, but Web 3.0 is more like a interpretation by the professional or technology world. So we're talking about Web 3.0. But for the Metaverse, it's more like the description by general public. So I think they are the same thing, but we just talk about from different angles. For example, if I'm saying I'm working on Metaverse, probably people don't understand what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Because there's so many breakdown and so many breakdown blocks and directions in this Metaverse and the Web 3.0. Yeah. So we need to specify which area we are focusing on. So if we generally talking about I'm working on Metaverse, maybe you can think I'm not working on anything, right? So it's just, I just try to use a fancy word.
Yeah.
But if I talk about I'm working on the NFT infrastructure in Web 3.0 or Metaverse, that's something, right? Yeah. So if I'm talking about I'm working on some hardware, virtual reality glasses, that's something, right? So if I'm talking about I'm working on some like digital creators algorithms, that can be something, right? So I think the big concept, so it's like a big umbrella, right? So we need to talk about specifics.
Another reason I interrupted you is you said that no one really owns the metaverse, right? But we've seen in the media that, you know, Zuckerberg is trying to set up the metaverse. I've heard of Somnium Space. You hear about these coins like Decentraland and, you know, Sandbox. So people are trying to own parts of it, or they're planning to make it interoperable? What's the future going to look like?
Everybody working on their own version of a metaverse, but soon after that, they will find that's when we connect all those together, it will become a real metaverse, right? So the interoperability is very important, and also the currently different metaverse projects, they are focused on different, I would say, scenarios. Like a Decentralized is more focused on the virtual real estate, and also help people to build their own house or exhibition hall over there. But based on the content, that will be different scenarios for the users, right? At the same time, you know, like a Meta, they are working on their own version, but they are more focusing on the hardware part, right? So they are focusing on the virtual reality. Even like Apple, they've emphasized they are more focusing on the mixed reality. So yeah, I think everybody is working on that, but maybe after several years, we can see. So they are all the contributors to the metaverse, but they don't own the complete metaverse at all. Yeah.
I see. I see. Hold on. A second, well, maybe a few minutes ago now, you said MR, and I didn't know what that was, but that's mixed reality. Is that right?
Yeah,
I know
mixed
VR and AR,
reality.
but I don't know
Yeah,
MR, mixed reality.
yeah.
Huh.
Mixed, actually, mixed realities, it seems to me is more real or practical in our life. For the virtual reality, you have to wear a VR glass. But for the mixed reality, it will be interesting. Just like I'm still sitting in my room in front of my desk,
Mm,
but on my desk I can see a virtual product
item.
or
Yeah.
virtual, even a virtual person over there, right? So it's part of the view in front of me. That would be more interesting. Yeah. I think Apple is more like this mixed reality approach
Mm-hmm.
because the cell phone is a real cell phone, but if you use cell phone to view or to participate something, it will be virtual and reality right together. There's still a long way to go. So the
Mm,
best way is to you don't wear anything. You don't wear the glasses, right?
yeah.
So you can be pretty immersive into some scenarios.
So let's talk about NFTs. I know you can, when you buy the real estate, I guess that's an NFT. I've seen, ticketing options, but how will everything be tied together with NFTs? What do you envision?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, in my vision, if there's no blockchain and NFT, so this will be more like 20 years ago. There was a project called Second Life,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you remember that Second Life. So it's a virtual world you can access from your web browser. You can get an account. You can buy the apartment, house, and you can also talk to your neighbors. So that's all the functions we can see what we're talking about right now. But the major difference is in that old virtual world, there's nothing called property, nothing called asset. So it's just like a digital goods you can buy. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So it can be created uh, based on nothing, right?
Okay.
So the operator can create a lot and sell to you. But
Mm,
when the server is shut down, you lost everything, right? So it's just like a virtual game.
yeah.
But now in the metaverse, so we're talking about it should be open and it will be permanent and everlasting. In order to do that, so we need to understand nothing in this world is free, right? So that's something we introduced the asset concept. So
Mm,
everything is digital asset, tokenized asset. Like in a metaverse, you can buy a building
mm-hmm.
that can be a NFT based. So when you try to decorate in the house, the table, the bed, they should all be part of the asset. So based on that, the NFT is a asset layer behind everything, right? So yeah, so that's my vision, but I believe that's the real important aspect we need to understand. Otherwise, we are building another virtual game,
Mm-hmm.
so it can be shut down, and you might lose a lot of things, right? So you earned over there. So in order to make sure, so there's a economy model building this metaverse
Mm-hmm.
because it's a mapping of a human society. It's a mixed reality and the virtual. So in order to make sure it's a real society, we need to have an economy model,
Mm,
right? The economy model should be working on based on the property and the asset, right? So if you don't have any asset over there, the economy model means not too much. So that's my logic here. So everything over there should be a tokenized asset. People can give to you as a gift. You can earn it by making some efforts. So you can buy it by using your digital currency. So with that, it will be a more real society over there. So people are making efforts, and the people want to or make it evolve evolving over there, right? So that's the real metaverse or Web 3.0 world in the future. So it's not a virtual game. I think that there's still a long way to go. Essentially, I think we all need to think about this tokenized asset. Asset doesn't mean a product. It could be a service, right? So the service is also part of the asset. You can own and you can sell to somebody else. For example, you are a lawyer in the metaverse. Some people want to talk to you to get some suggestions. You can sell your time to them. So they need to buy a time NFT from you, maybe to reserve a slot from you.
Definitely.
So I think the goods and also the services they are all tokenized asset in my view.
There's a lot of potential. In that lawyer example, personally, I think I'd rather talk to the lawyer face to face, or, if I want to talk to an expert that's not nearby, then I'd use Zoom. But the reason to use the metaverse to talk to a lawyer would be anonymity. You don't want to show who you are, or are there some other reasons why people would prefer that over Zoom?
Not really. Well, I think on the metaverse, you can think Zoom meeting is also part of the metaverse scenario, right? So just maybe it's showing the
screen,
the screen differently.
Okay.
So that's the same thing. So it doesn't matter it's anonymous or real name. But the important part is it will connect people from different time zone or different dimension of the world. For example, I can talk to if I want to visit my lawyer office, talk to them, I will spend a lot of time to travel, right? So in this kind of virtual room, it will be immediately I can get my answer in 10 minutes. Same thing, like to see the doctors. So if you want to make appointment to get tested and then wait in the pipeline, it will take a long time. So with a virtual doctor appointment, it will be easier, right? So I think metaverse can cover the entertainment world and also the professional world. So it's not a virtual game type of thing. It's just a collection of all essential scenarios that we want to have, right? Let's see doctors, even watch a movie together. For us, we are living in different part of the world, but we want to sit together to see a movie and then maybe chat with each other, right? So I think that's that would be a lot of. That's why I see if you consider each one as a mini application inside the metaverse world. So there will be a lot of such application scenarios, right? So together we see a complete set of metaverse.
Yeah. So one more question I had was, someone asked me a while ago, why are people creating a metaverse? And I couldn't really answer. Is it the social aspect? Is it to be anonymous? Is it convenience? Or is there like a lot of money behind it? What do you see pushing this movement?
Yeah. Well, I think that this movement means the future, I would say, lifestyle of a human being, where we're transforming to that kind of stage. For example, we're used to meet each other from the virtual world, right? So it's not just travel and spend a lot of time on the road. At the same time, young guys, they are used to those video game and virtual world. So they love to chat in their bedroom, right? They're connected to each other. They don't want to travel. So I think there's a lot of reasons people like this metaverse. But so currently a lot of people still feel metaverse is very relevant to this immersive virtual reality world, right? So it's more close to the video game. Video game community. So that's a first move, I think. Just like the crypto art is the first move of the NFT world, right? So, but for the metaverse, it's more like a virtual reality world to most people as a first step. But soon, when you expand it, you want to have a social element inside, and you want to make sure any efforts you spend in the metaverse won't be wasted. Anything you earned over there will be everlasting. That will require the openness, the infrastructure support, right? And also because metaverse is not, I would say, another view of the internet. So Web 3.0. Basically, in the internet, we always say the content is the king, right? So wherever you are in Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, the most important part is the vivid content, right? So the content in metaverse still, they belong to the creators content community. So that's the creativity of a human being, right? So you are just contributing to this metaverse world with a different way to manage it, or even tokenize it to make money from that. So I think that's a very attractive part to the people. So to continue make efforts to make contents over there, right?
Yeah.
The content will connect people and also connect to the economy models. I remember, like last year, Henry, we were talking about in very early some episodes of your show. So he was talking, say, okay, NFT saved him a lot of time and also a lot of money, right? So before he has to travel to New York City to talk to people, right?
Yeah.
The art dealer, and to organize the show. But maybe over 50% was earned by the art dealer, not him, right? So that's something really changed our life. So I think that's the essential spirit of the metaverse, Web 3.0.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it'll evolve. I can see some applications. I went to the Louvre once, and given the choice now, I would much rather see it in some sort of virtual world, because you don't have to travel there. The pictures are bigger. There's no crowds. It's to see an art museum or something is just much better, I think, in the virtual world. And I think even going to Egypt or something on vacation, it's kind of cool to go inside those old buildings, but the colors are kind of faded, and now there's all these barriers and restrictions, and it might be dangerous. So I think, yeah, travel, art museums, that would be good. But when it comes to like riding my bike, I don't want to be like, strapped to some machine in my living room with goggles on, imagining. But it'll sort itself out. We'll figure out what works.
Yeah, I think our lifestyle will be gradually changed, right? So because of the connection of those new stuff, it's irreversible, I think. Especially, when we talk about content, before it's all generated by human beings, right? So different creators, writers, artists. But now, maybe soon, you will see a lot of things generated by AI.
Yeah.
Right? So you cannot differentiate which is a human being or which is AI. So that creates a new dimension of the world. That's why sometimes I say, okay, the current world we're living in, maybe it's just one part of the metaverse that we don't really understand, but we think metaverse is another new thing, but actually metaverse maybe is the whole universe. So we are just living on Earth. That's our tiny world that we have been living in, right? So yeah, that actually makes me feel okay. That's the continuation of the human society and civilization, right? So it's not just a jump into a digital world, so to get rid of the past world.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
It's an interesting topic, like our brains are electrical and, that's growing into the digital world. And I was thinking when you were
Yeah.
talking, like, in the past, we've always watched movies just on the TV, but I guess in the metaverse, you like would enter the movie, right? You could be part of the movie. There's not just sitting back
Yeah.
and watching. It would,
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, I participate a music theater in my city.
Yeah.
So they allow you to sit in the middle of the scene, right? So
Cool.
they call it immersive performance.
Yeah.
Uh, so even you can participate a little bit. They
Hmm.
can invite you. Yeah. So
Nice.
this kind of performance is pretty popular, pretty
Hmm.
attractive to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a good talk. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we better wrap it up. Could you just give a quick summary again how the NFTs will apply? Maybe give a couple more examples.
I think the major part is it's a tokenized world. So that's the essential brick of the metaverse or Web 3.0,
Mm,
because the blockchain and the NFT provide the asset layer, digital asset layer uh, for the Web 3.0. Because without that, it's difficult to build everything on top of that. So yeah, that's why Uptick is trying hard to build an NFT infrastructure, especially we call it a business grade NFT infrastructure, right? Because it's not just a demo, but we want to bring in the real business,
mm,
real creators, and a real business person into that. So that's very important. With that, when we can secure their asset in this crypto world, so they will be very creative to build their own business on top of that, right?
mm.
So it could be a exhibition hall, it could be a meeting room, could be an art gallery, whatever. So that's why I keep saying metaverse doesn't belong to anyone, any company. It belongs to everybody, and it will keep evolving because the growth of the metaverse is equals to the growth of the creativity of human being, right? So we just need to provide a solid infrastructure, a solid vehicle, really can carry all those creativities,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's my vision on this. Yeah,
Nice. Nice. Okay. Thanks a lot for your time, Brian. It was good.
sure.